Welcome back to From the Pages. And this issue feels like wrestling before it streamlined itself, before it learned how to package everything neatly. There's grit in these pages, there's friction. The business here is still territorial, still personal, still fueled by grudges that don't need corporate framing to feel important. The magazine doesn't sell you spectacle. It presents force, ego, momentum, and the constant recalibration of status across regions. The opening visual statement belongs to Andre the Giant, and it is unapologetically physical. The spread does not attempt poetry. It does not lean into legend. It leans into impact. Ernie Ladd is shown absorbing forearms that look less like wrestling maneuvers and more like blunt trauma. John Tolos and Greg Valentine are pressed into a corner simultaneously, the ring ropes doing nothing to cushion what follows. Don Leo Jonathan is attacked while an official appears overwhelmed. Oxbaker is down while Andre stands over him, not posing, simply present. The captions read almost clinically. They don't shout, they document. That restraint gives the presentation credibility. Andre is not being elevated into folklore here. He is being shown as a competitive imbalance. The emphasis is on reaction, opponents recoiling, referees unable to contain momentum, corners collapsing under weight and force. In 1979, that was enough. You didn't need myth-making, you needed evidence. And from that evidence of dominance, the issue pivots into fracture. The Bruiser Brodie and Bobby Duncum feature captures something raw about the business. A promoter suggests matching them against each other. It's presented almost casually, but the implications are immediate. Duncum reacts with discomfort. Brodie reacts with indifference. His position is simple and unfiltered. He will wrestle anyone, anywhere, so long as the money is right. There's no moral framing, no tragic overtone. When they finally meet in the ring, the tone becomes chaotic. The bout is described as savage and difficult to regulate. A referee throws it out because control evaporates. The lasting image isn't the stoppage. It's Duncum offering a handshake and Brodie walking past him. The article doesn't condemn either man. It simply shows what happens when business overrides camaraderie. In this era, loyalty is conditional. From personal fracture, the issue escalates into reputation defense. Ric Flair's segment begins with a single word: coward. Wahoo McDaniel has publicly used it. That word travels. When it reaches Flair, the reaction is explosive. Property damage follows. The magazine doesn't dramatize the destruction. It notes it. What it does emphasize is the distinction between arrogance and fear. Flair may project excess. He may bend rules. But cowardice is a different accusation entirely. The confrontation with McDaniel is framed as heated and pride-driven. There's less emphasis on technical breakdown and more on emotional charge. In 1979, a man standing could shift on a word. The piece makes clear that champions defend more than belts. They defend identity. And then the issue slows down, not in intensity, but in weight. The Bruno Sammartino and Ivan Koloff discussion carries a different gravity. This isn't presented as simple booking speculation, it's unfinished history. Sammartino's words suggest that some defeats don't fade with time. Koloff views a potential second victory as cement, a way to eliminate debate permanently. The writing leans into legacy rather than current rankings. It suggests inevitability without promising closure. In an era of shifting territorial champions, memory becomes the truest currency. This isn't about drawing houses, it's about rewriting the past. Momentum then shifts forward with the Paul Orndorff feature, and this is where the issue quietly signals change. Orndorff is not introduced as a novelty. He's positioned as a contender pushing into relevance. His encounter with Ernie Ladd becomes a litmus test. Ladd brings veteran size and intimidation, accustomed to dictating pace. Orndorff brings conditioning, composure, and refusal to concede space psychologically. The early portion of the match favors Ladd's physical dominance, but the coverage makes a point of highlighting Orndorff's adjustment. He does not panic, he recalibrates. The time limit draws frame not as stalemate, but as disruption. Ladd leaves frustrated. Orndorff leaves validated. The feature underscores perception shift. Surviving a veteran powerhouse alters narrative. Orndorff is no longer discussed in terms of potential. He is being discussed in terms of positioning. That distinction matters deeply in this era. Terry Funk's coverage carries a reflective undertone. There is still fire in the presentation, but there is also acknowledgement of mileage. The language hints at accumulation, years of physical battles, and the expectations that come with reputation. It does not present decline, it presents adjustment. In a business built on toughness, that nuance stands out. The departments widen the conversation. The question of the month focuses on Bob Backlund's progress as WWF champion. The responses reveal the fractured nature of wrestling geography. Superstar Graham questions refinement. Harley Race challenges innate toughness. Captain Lou Albano frames progress as measurable growth. Bruno Sammartino emphasizes heart and endurance. Nick Bockwinkel discusses the pressure that shapes a champion over time. Ivan Koloff acknowledges improvement while asserting superiority. The answers don't align neatly. They reflect territory bias, personality, and perspective. Wrestling in 1979 is not centralized, it is argumentative. The Mailbag reinforces that argument. One reader constructs a theory that Lou Albano disguised himself as Dr. Onabla, pointing out that the name spelled backward reveals Albano. It's absurd and sincere at the same time. The editors allow the theory to stand, reinforcing the idea that fan engagement is part of the ecosystem. Other letters question officiating consistency. Some argue that referees are placed in impossible situations, especially during multi-man chaos involving rule breakers. Suggestions for stricter enforcement and additional referees appear. The magazine does not dismiss these concerns. It engages them. The dialogue feels active rather than ornamental. And then comes Apartment Wrestling, not as novelty, but as parallel universe. The August issue presents a Greatest Battles collection, revisiting prior encounters with deliberate intensity. Denise launches into the air to stomp Sinara in a moment described as unforgettable. Margarita nearly cripples Tiffany with a punishing abdominal stretch. Valerie and Gloria are credited as foundational figures within this subcategory, having set the standard for ferocity and stamina. Sinara returns to punish Solomon with intricate chokeholds, reinforcing her champion status. Tara and Courtney claw and strike with stamina that shocks observers. The language mirrors the main features: savage, brutal, chaotic. The confined domestic settings contrast with arena spectacle, but the competitive hierarchy remains intact. Titles matter, rivalries matter, endurance matters. Apartment Wrestling is presented not as parody, but as extension. Advertisements add another layer of cultural texture. Dan Lurie's Positrain system promises rapid muscle transformation, guaranteed results, and visible gains. LaSalle Extension University offers correspondence programs in business, accounting, drafting, hospitality, and more. Upward mobility through structured learning at home. A witchcraft manual promises wealth, influence, and personal power. Back issue order forms encourage readers to build their own historical archive. These pages show what wrestling readers were being sold beyond the ring: strength, knowledge, mysticism, self-improvement, and permanence. By the time the issue closes, August 1979 reads as a business in motion. Andre dominates physically. Brodie rejects sentiment. Flair defends pride. Bruno revisits legacy. Orndorff pushes forward. Funk adjusts. Fans debate. Apartment Wrestling thrives. In parallel, territories pulse independently. The magazine does not attempt to predict consolidation. It documents friction. See you next time. Farewell from the Empire State.